Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. Settle in today because we have a great show. I've been waiting to get Mr. Gaston Martinez on the show for over a month. He's super busy. He is the founder and CEO of IZO Mezcal. You heard right. He is really incredible. He produces a collection of premium, handcrafted agave spirits. He uses a centuries-old tradition in the heart of Durango, Mexico. He's a native of Durango, Mexico, and he has created the Easel brand to carry out his lifelong mission and vision of preserving the legacy of pure, all-natural mezcal, for which his hometown is known for and for which his family and culture is known for. Gaston, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Hey, happy to be here. Appreciate it.
This is super exciting to have you on the show. You know, IZO is found everywhere throughout the United States. So many people love it. It is one of the leading mezcal brands in the United States, soon to be released throughout the entire country of Mexico through a giant distribution network and a giant company, probably a household name company. I'm not even sure if I can say it out loud right now. But Gaston, let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet and tell everybody about IZO Mezcal.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes, as you mentioned, it's been my dream, bring our culture, our heritage, our tradition, our way to celebrate to the world. And I started this idea with some friends of mine to start this journey. And in 2018, we began to create this wonderful project, and we're so happy that right now, I know people and even trade shows and challenging shows and spirit challenging shows have recognized IZO as one of the more leading companies in the agave spirit world.
I love it, Gaston. Now, IZO is winning so many different awards. What I love about it is that it's made sustainably from slow roasted wild agave hearts, harvested on local ranches. You have so many amazing local partners, and you know, when you take a sip of the IZO, it just kind of brings you back to a world, you know, from the past. You know, we're in this hectic world right now. COVID's going on and it's crazy, but when you sit down and have a sip of this, you know, handcrafted IZO, it's really incredible. So congratulations on what you're doing. How did you decide to start the IZO brand?
Well, I mean, Mescal has been a tradition in my family. I mean, my great granddad and you know, my dad used to, you know, always have a bottle of Mescal nearby, right? I mean, is this a way we connect with, you know, with friends and family? And I want to take that, capture that history in a bottle and be able to take it elsewhere, you know, I mean, to bring it to the US, I mean, to bring it to the rest of the world. And that was it. I mean, but always with a lot of passion, with that sense of I want to create a nice product. I want to create an authentic product, and everything is validated because I'm from there. You know, you see now a lot of brands, you know, a lot of you know, celebrities, and that's fine. You know, trying to capture that wave of you know, spirits and all that, and you know, the opportunities for everybody. But I think when you have a more, I mean, sustainable project, meaning from the source, you know, our people, my way to being able to create a positive impact to the community, and that's kind of what I'm looking for.
I love that, and you're doing such a great job. And for the entrepreneurs watching the show, you know, the reason we brought Gaston on the show is because he is a perfect example of someone that has passion. And as entrepreneurs, we know that when you have passion for your product, it goes a long way, and it really sets you apart from the competition. So the one thing for our younger entrepreneurs watching this show today that are listening to Gaston as the CEO of IZO, just keep in mind the passion of what he talks about, the passion of the way that the IZO is developed, the passion of what he has behind it, his social mission. It's really amazing. Now, one thing about IZO, Gaston, that's very, very interesting is you have tried to pay respect to the original point of origin. And something that's very interesting, for example, is even the stopper on the bottle is locally sourced, and it's an Onyx stopper. Let's talk about that, because that's just an added bonus of the bottle.
Sure. And let's go a little bit behind. We want to create a very unique product. We create our own path. Normally, when you see Mexican products, it's very colorful, very, you have the burro, the agave, the sombrero, and all that kind of stuff that people kind of relate with a Mexican product, right? But us, we deviate from that path, and we create our own path. We want to create an elegant and sophisticated mezcal. The concept of mezcal is very rough, the worm, the scorpion, and back in the days, and yeah, that's one option, but you have also this option. And because of that, our bottle, our design of the label, and a stopper. Every bottle is a unique, because we outsource our Onyx from Durango. And because this is all natural and handcrafted, every bottle has its own piece of Onyx, and every bottle is unique. You take in there's no two identical bottles. That's a pretty cool thing to own, right? And I've seen people choosing our bottles to the Onyx. Oh, I like that one. Oh, that color is great. But we want to create that all natural, handcrafted experience, because it's all about it. Life is about experiences, right? You take it, you enjoy it, and you see the bottle, and you hopefully you can capture all the effort that we put behind in each bottle.
I love it, Gaston, so much. It makes all the sense in the world. And, all natural mezcal is known in your hometown and your family, known within your family and your entire culture as a symbol for celebration and a symbol for the pure enjoyment of life. So let's talk about entrepreneurship just for a minute, Gaston, because you must really love getting up every day and going to work, knowing that your mezcal really captures what pure enjoyment of life is all about.
Oh, sure. My best day in the week is a Monday, right? Because in the weekend, I'm eager to just go back to business and to the office and see what's going on. But the entrepreneurial life is not for everybody. I understand that. And but if you have that in you're going to go. The road is kind of bumpy sometimes, but the passion, effort, and if you have yourself focused where you want to go, and I think that's the key.
Now, very interesting. Now, many people, when they think of mezcal, they think of something that's more harsh than, let's say, some other types of alcohol. But in your particular case, it is so smooth, and that's why you're winning all of the awards. You've got a very smooth, sophisticated taste. People are loving it. Is that because of the way in which you produce it through all of the organically grown agaves?
Well, it's our style, our profile. There's so many different type of mezcals in Mexico. You have 9 regions that can produce mezcal, and you have close to 50 different type of agaves that can be made into a mezcal. Our style, I like the smokiness, but I don't like to be so in your face. I like a very subtle smokiness around the mezcal that you can taste the smoke, the floral, the fruitiness, and a very smooth finish. For me, that was kind of my mission, to create a very smooth finish. People sometimes compare it with tequila, right? It's a close relative from the agave, from the mezcal. It's still a agave spirit, but tequila is a more into the sweet side of the spirit. With the mezcal, you have the earthiness, the floral, even some vegetable involved in the process, and a very light smoke. And yeah, having that connection with a very smooth finish, opens the possibility to connect with the broader, palates and all that.
That's beautiful. And when we think about it, how long does it take to produce a bottle of IZO? How long does it take for the agave to grow and for you to process it? What's the process look like?
Well, just keep in mind, in order to have the agave ready to harvest, it takes 10 years. 10 years to get to the point like, okay, we have a team of Himalayas. The cool thing about our company, we're just not another label. We actually own the distillery. We have our own Jimadores. Those Jimadores are the ones who are going to look on the fields and the wild. Everything that we use is wild agave. They go to the mountains and they harvest those mature 10-year plus agave. They bring it to our distillery, and we cook it for 4 to 5 days, depends on the weather. And then after the cooking, we ferment it for 3 to 5 days, also depends on the weather. And after that, we double distill, we double filter, and for a mezcal joven, that's it. The whole process, from the cooking part to the bottling part, it might take like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But the more intense, process is the waiting for the agave to be ready to harvest.
Wow, Gaston, that's amazing. So when you're done through your process, and it's a very elaborate process with the filtering and the double filtering and all of that that goes on, at the end of it, you have the IZO traditional brand, wonderful agave. Wonderful mezcal. So does someone taste it? Is there a taste tester at the end to make sure that it meets your specifications?
Oh, sure. We have a master distiller. We call it Maestro Mezcalero. And then his name is Jose Gonzalez. And he's the guy that actually controls everything, all the process. He's our guy, is our key guy for our process. And he makes sure that we keep standards. Sometimes in mezcal, like in wine, you have this beautiful vintage and this beautiful batch, and the next year is like, oh my God, this is completely different, right? We try to keep the same standards, the same profile, because when you sip it and you enjoy it, you want to go back and have the same experience. But yeah, we have this wonderful master distiller, Jose Gonzalez, that is the one who's actually take care of all the process on that.
So for the entrepreneurs watching the show, you're probably surmising that Jose Gonzalez has the greatest job in the world. So that's great, right, Gaston?
Yes, indeed. He's lucky enough to be able to have a sip every now and then, yeah.
Now, Gaston, let me ask you a question, because obviously when people buy this IZO bottle, this handcrafted bottle with the sort of special top, that every top is different through the Onyx, it's absolutely unbelievable. It's probably a collector's item. So when we think about it, in your mind as the owner and the entrepreneur and the founder and the CEO, when someone takes a sip of your IZO Mezcal, in your mind, what do you want them to feel?
I want them to taste Mexico. I want them to, transport themselves to our culture, to the way that we if you're lucky enough maybe to have traveled to Mexico in the past, maybe that sip would take you there, would take you back. But I want them to kind of like, hey, this is how Mexico tastes, and this is how the Mexican people celebrate. And I think this is a very cool way to express our culture, our way to celebrate, and our history, our heritage. And I think that's kind of my thing, if you see it like, oh my God, there's nothing like mezcal in the world. This is a very unique product from Mexico. And now the company, now we have tequila, and we have sotol, and we have bacanora, and, we have created a different spectrum from different type of agaves from all Mexico. And then that's why if you enter to the world of IZO, you will experience that kind of connection.
I love it. So you have a line extended out to different handcrafted agave spirits, and they're all according to the centuries of tradition in the heart of Durango, Mexico, which is amazing. Now, I don't know if you can release the information, but I understand that soon Easel will be distributed throughout all of Mexico as well. Is that something you can talk about right now?
Sure. We signed a contract with Costco in Mexico, and they're going to be a nationwide distribution. They're going to help us to put our product nationwide. And in the U.S., we carry our products, two of our products. In the Southern California and in the LA region through Costco, and it's a wonderful partner, and it helps us to brand it. Costco is very particular in what kind of product they bring. I mean, quality and all that. And I think we're pretty happy that they consider us to be part of that space on the shelves for them.
Well, you're part now of the Costco ecosystem, and they are very demanding, and they only accept the best of the best. So congratulations on that. Gaston, when we think about this 10 years, I mean, something that comes to mind, what happens in the third year if it's a bad, the weather doesn't cooperate or something happens in that third year? Do all the agave plants sort of go bad, or do they rejuvenate on their own? Are they that type of plant that can keep going even through the worst, temperatures or atmospheric problems, et cetera?
No, yeah. I mean, Durango has a very particular climate that actually helps to grow the agave. Everything is wild. But what we're doing here is we are replanting. I mean, every time we take one agave, we bring 5 back to the wild. And that's our sustainable kind of program. Because if you don't do that, it's going to go to a point like, there's no more wild agaves out there, right? We in our distiller, we use solar panels as well. We have a water treatment plant. We really want to sync with the nature, right? Sync with our surroundings, and we do it as much as we can to be able to, even the leftovers of the agave, the fiber that goes after you grind agave, those ones we give that to the cows nearby and ranchers. Cows love to eat that because it has a little bit of sugar, and then it's trying to sync with nature and be able to accommodate ourselves and be able to be conscious of if you take one, you bring 5 back.
I love it, Gaston. It makes all the sense in the world. It's a sustainable model. Now, how many agave plants does it take to make one bottle of IZO Mezcal? Do you have any idea?
Yes, for sure. I mean, it takes 10 kilos, around like maybe 20 pounds, give or take, to create a bottle of mezcal. And you just keep in mind that, sometimes the plants can weigh probably like 500 pounds. I mean, yeah, it's quite amazing. And they're huge and then big. But it's a lot of intense process. And you think about it, you have to wait 10 years in order to produce a bottle of mezcal. That bottle should cost like thousands of dollars, right? I mean, it's not like a potato vodka, right? I mean, just bring me a truckload of potatoes. No. Here's a different story.
I love it. And it's so interesting. So there I go to the store. I get a bottle of the IZO Mezcal. I have a little sip. And when I have a sip, that sip contains some agave plants. And what happens is, from what I understand from you, which is really remarkable, is that when you pull one of the plants out of the ground, you plant 5 more in its place. Is that what goes on?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we plant a small ones, like a 2-year-old. We have a nursery that we put the seeds and then wait 2 years. And after 2 years, we take it back to the field, to the wild. But yeah, that's every time we take one, we put 5 back. And that's the way it has to be.
I love it, Gaston. It makes all the sense in the world. You've been able to assemble a wonderful team at IZO. You work with some incredible local ranches down in the Durango area. When you think about bringing a ranch on to work with you or bring an employee on, Gaston, what's the most important thing that you're looking for so that someone can join your team? Are you looking for honesty, integrity, friendly? What type of people are you most interested in attracting to join your team?
Sure. Well, first of all, let me tell you, I have like these three components that are very important in any organization. It's people, process, and product, right? And for me, what I'm looking for is a passion. Maybe you don't know anything about mezcal, but if you have passion already in you, I mean, you will take that and you will translate it to whatever you do, and that's kind of the key, right? Obviously, I mean, in this type of business, we need to be humble. We need to understand that we don't know anything, and if you are able to learn from somebody else's, I mean, that's also very important. And as I mentioned before, one part of our organization do the business in Mexico, in Durango, but there's another part here in the U.S. Our corporate offices are here in San Diego. We have a team of sales reps that actually promote, and go to the stores and do demos. And because of that, we take care from the ground, from the harvesting to the glass. We know the whole aspect of the process of our product. And as I mentioned before, it's not just another label and bottle that, somebody else is just filling your product and you become a mezcalero or anything else. But I think, for us, it's important to have that kind of elements, being able to understand and put all the passion and effort in everything you do.
Gaston, that makes all the sense in the world. That's great advice for the entrepreneurs watching the show. So thank you very much for that. Let's talk about sort of the taste palette. Has mezcal gone across the ocean? In other words, are people in Europe and Eastern Europe and Russia and even, the Asian countries, are they starting to enjoy the mezcal as much as the Mexicans and the North Americans now?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, Europe and Asia and Russia and South America. I think the mezcal wave is just taking over. And for the U.S., I guess this is one of the biggest markets in the world. But you've seen mezcal almost everywhere you go. Australia. South America, again, Asia, Europe. It's fascinating how this trend of exposing this product to the world is just taking over.
I love it. And I think what makes a lot of sense to a lot of people listening to the show is it's sustainable. So you take one agave out of the ground. I didn't know they could be up to 500 pounds. You plant 5 more. You plant them from your nursery. So you have a nursery component to the business where you can plant agave that's maybe a couple years old to get it going in the nursery. Then you plant it out in the farms. And then you take what's left over from the agave plant and you give it to the farmers who then feed the wild stock and the cows, if you will. So it's really, really a great sustainable model. Can agave be transplanted to other countries easily, or is it mostly just in Mexico right now?
No, you have, different type of agaves everywhere. But we have the denomination of origin for mezcal. Only in Mexico can be produced, and only 9 states in Mexico can produce mezcal. The rest, you can call it just agave spirit. But it's not going to be called mezcal. It's like tequila. Only from, those regions that can produce tequila, they can name it tequila, or champagne from the Champagne region, right? But agave is a part of the cactus family. It's it's a very resistant. It goes through different type of weather, and it's just a phenomenal plant.
That's awesome, Gaston. So again, this is incredible what you're doing with Easel, with the mezcal, and then the other premium agave spirits that you're now making with the Easel brand behind it. Gaston, I know you're very busy running this organization, and I know that you're about to, go out through Costco, through Mexico as your partner or as a distribution channel. It's really incredible what you've been able to do. The the mezcal itself is an award-winning mezcal. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's trying to get their hands on it, and it's really, really remarkable. It's a smooth tasting type of a mezcal that really you must be proud of, because really you have your family name behind the mezcal after your family living for so long in the region and knowing all about this particular agave plant and making the mezcal. So it's certainly amazing. Now, Gaston, I want to turn our conversation to entrepreneurship just a little bit, because I think it's important for the younger entrepreneurs to hear from someone like you, who's been able to build this national and international company, which is just remarkable. So when you're building your company, Gaston, I would imagine when you wake up in the morning, you have to have a why. You have to have something that motivates you. You have to have something that you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm going to go get it today. Or you have to wake up in the morning and say something, whether it's about your family or your passion for agave, that really kind of gets you going. So what is Gaston Martinez's why as an entrepreneur?
There's so many things, but one of the cool things that, every time, first of all, every night I'm so grateful with what's going on, right? I mean, another thing that's a key, you have to be grateful for the process. We all, as an entrepreneur, wants to get there as fast as we can. And sometimes, it takes more time than normal. But if you don't embrace your process, it's hard to go next step, right? But one of the things for me that is key is I want to create a positive impact in everything that we do, right? To our employees, to be able to create jobs, to be able to have that positive impact in our region. Durango, in the region that we are, I mean, we are so proud that, the people that work for us have been taken care, the rest will come natural. I mean, I'm not focused on how many bottles I need to sell, how many cases I need to sell, because that's not my point. My point is to, offer our history, our tradition, our heritage. And I want to have a positive impact in people that connect with our brand, with our team. And I'm grateful for people that are working for us. It's just very, very motivating for me. That is the connection that keeps me going, and the legacy that I can, pass to my kids, right? And say, this is, if you have an idea, if you really think about it and push and put all your heart, this could happen, right?
I love it, Gaston. It's such a great message and very empowering, very powerful, very sage advice to the younger entrepreneurs watching the show. Give it your all, be passionate, care about your customers, care about your product, simply be great at everything you do. And of course, at the end of it, what comes out of that beautiful handcrafted bottle with the Onyx top is a beautifully well thought out, passionate, lovely liquid that people sip on, that makes them kind of go back and feel what it was like centuries ago and feel and love your heritage. And I think you've accomplished that so well, Gaston. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. The time has just flown by. I think I could talk about mezcal for another, 8 hours. And certainly when I come down to Mexico, I want to meet Jose Gonzalez, your taste tester, and he probably has a smile on his face 24 hours a day, Gaston. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
My pleasure. Happy to be here. I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much.